If you want a great block party to end the summer with, I got just the one to fit the bill. Wait, you don't mind giant lizards with razor-sharp teeth chasing you, right? You know what? Never mind, you'll be alright. A new Porter Report movie review begins right now. Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the Porter Report. My name is BJ Porter, and I hope everybody is having an amazing day today. For all of my previous viewers and subscribers, it is wonderful to see you all again, and for all my first timers out there, welcome, and we hope you enjoy everything that this video and channel has to offer. We are just mere days away from the end of this year's summer movie season, but we still have some exciting things left on the slate to close things out with. The subject of today's Porter Report movie review puts a new spin on a genre that many fans have grown to love. Every neighborhood has its fair share of pests. But what happens when those pests are from a timeline that's not your own? Yeah, I think you might need more than bug spray and repellent to keep these guys away. Today, I am giving you guys the official review for The End of Oak Street, directed by David Robert Mitchell and starring Anne Hathaway, Ewan McGregor, Macy Stella, Christian Convery, Jordan Alexa Davis, and PJ Byrne. Even though they have been extinct for over 65 million years, dinosaurs still have a significant chokehold on society and pop culture in general. Knowing that these magnificent creatures roamed the earth prior to us makes all of their stories so fascinating and interesting eons later. From a fictional standpoint, dinosaur movies have been all the rage for quite a while now, with various stories spanning multiple genres. You got your kid-friendly fares with some being lighthearted and fun, to heavily emotional with a hinge of trauma. And then you have some other dinosaur movies that literally set the gold standard for the genre and possibly the industry as a whole. Needless to say, a good dinosaur movie can be a real cinematic treat if done right. While few have come close to the phenomenon levels of, say, Jurassic Park, this one might actually have a chance of surprising some people. J.J. Abrams and the director of It Follows, David Robert Mitchell, prepared to add to the dinosaur movie mythology with a straightforward family story that has a wild twist. This dino flick sees a suburban family transported to an unknown location in time, where their new neighbors have both a killer instinct and a strong appetite. The bar is set pretty high for movies about these prehistoric beasts thanks to one franchise in particular. But could this movie signal the arrival of a new apex predator within the genre? Well, I hope you're ready to sink your teeth into the details because it's time to see what's stomping around in the neighborhood. Here's the Porter Report movie review for The End of Oak Street. The sense of normalcy and stability is an underrated part of life that many people take for granted in times of chaos. Even more so when circumstances force you into situations you're not quite prepared for. Denise and Greg Platt are looking to make the most out of their summer with their kids, Audrey and Brian. Their simple home on Oak Street is your basic by-the-numbers 1980s humble abode in a quiet, non-problematic neighborhood. At least that was the case last night. What was thought to be a simple late-night power surge soon turns into something far more serious and alarming. The entire neighborhood now finds itself without water or power in what looks to be a block-wide blackout. But to the shock and terror of everyone on Oak Street, it also appears that some new visitors have staked their claim amongst the residents. Trust and believe that these are not your ordinary backyard pests like raccoons or rats, for these pests just so happen to have razor-sharp teeth, flesh-tearing claws, and have a timestamp that goes all the way back to the dawn of time. With an entire neighborhood infested with a plethora of creatures from before the age of man, the Platt family must rally behind each other to survive a time and place that is a far cry from the suburban one they thought they were waking up in. The wildest block party of the summer arrives in an all-new dinosaur flick with an old-school twist. The End of Oak Street sees one family's summer become a terrifying prehistoric nightmare courtesy of producer J.J. Abrams and the director of It Follows, David Robert Mitchell. After stomping around with the Platts and their ferocious new residents, The End of Oak Street is the type of bold swing of a movie that restores faith in fresh cinematic storytelling. Dinosaur movies have always had the capacity and the capability to be event films. Seeing these creatures brought back to life on the big screen offers us a window into a world we only read about in books. While movies like Jurassic Park set the gold standard, few other films featuring these larger-than-life beasts reach that level of iconic status. That being said, some films somehow manage to do things in such a way that still evoke that sense of awe and terror, all while still managing to deliver a story that is engaging with characters that are relatable. The End of Oak Street manages to be just that film. Director David Robert Mitchell delivers a cinematic treat that brings all the types of thrills that you expect from a movie featuring creatures from 65 million years ago, but does it within a story that is emotionally emotionally grounded and laced with a shocking amount of brutality that makes the stakes high and the danger ever present and real. While the dinos are going to be one of the main draws for the film, I'm happy to report that the on-screen ensemble is just as amazing to watch, which for me was the make or break of a film with this type of chaos at every turn. Starting with our leading lady, Anne Hathaway continues to show everyone why she is truly one of the best in her field. She gives the character of Denise such depth underneath that only becomes more prevalent as the movie progresses. Denise is someone who feels unheard in her own home and finds a strong coping mechanism to try and get her bottled up emotions out before they eat her up from the inside out. Hathaway's performance is a masterclass in versatility where you see resolve, fear, brokenness, and strength all on display in so many facets of the film's runtime. She delivers a top-tier performance and the movie benefits greatly from having her at the center of it. Her on-screen husband, played by Ewan McGregor, is equally strong in his own right. Like Denise, McGregor's character Greg is just as relatable as someone who is doing the best he can to provide for his family despite the hand he's been dealt. This puts him at odds with Denise as their lack of transparency and honesty with each other spirals greatly and only becomes more severe once the situation escalates. However, it's that very do-or-die situation where they rediscover what is truly important and ironically begin to heal and find that love for each other again. This works due to the performance and chemistry of Hathaway and McGregor, and it makes the emotional core of the film stronger and at times makes the action set pieces all the more anxiety-inducing. Maisie Stella and Christian Convery are solid as Audrey and Brian respectively, but their best work comes from them being in the same vicinity as McGregor and Hathaway, as the quartet make a very convincing and emotionally strong family unit. Additional praise goes to Jordan Alexa Davis, who, while she isn't in the film much, still does an effective job with what she is given. The biggest praise I can give The End of Oak Street is in the execution of its conception. Dinosaurs being in a modern day setting is not new, but the way this film crafts its story is something that deserves full marks for how it went about getting things done. The pacing and the writing in the film are downright impressive and truly keeps things tight and moving without losing focus on what the core of the story is. There is so much detail in not just the frames on screen, but within the inner workings of the narrative. The film doesn't spoon feed you the details, but if you are locked into the subtleties, it brings things together all the more effectively. The movie does a great job of building tension and suspense before truly revealing everything. The build-up is steady enough where you know it's coming, and the small amounts of layer peeling make the moments where the gauntlet drops not just heart-pounding but satisfying. All of that hinges on this cast and how much you are invested in them and what they go through. For all the dinosaur chases, anxiety-inducing tension, and bone-chilling terror that encompasses the overall tone of the movie, the film is truly about a family finding its way back to each other despite being metaphorically broken and far apart. It is filled with moments that highlight forgiveness, reconciliation, and understanding that no matter the circumstances or what life throws at you, a home is always strongest when the foundation is able to weather the storm. To have that be so well telegraphed in the way that it was in a movie about dinosaurs rampaging through the 1980s suburbs might just be one of the most impressive feats I've seen from a movie this year. All in all, The End of Oak Street is a film that shows what happens when you take the boldness of a wild premise and deliver something unique behind a simplistic yet still highly detailed and nuanced approach to storytelling. It's a film that deserves all the credit for going off the rails while still making it known what is important in spite of all the chaos that is stomping around throughout the ordeal. It'll be easy for this film to potentially get lost in the sea of cinematic affairs that have bigger draws, but this is one dino excursion that is a fantastic fossil worth digging up. Look, it's no secret that almost anybody, regardless of their preference, is gonna be down to watch a dinosaur movie. It's one of those special type of genres that truly brings people together, just like many other monster movies and creature features. While it is obvious what the titan of the genre is, it is always nice to have something other than that to showcase how awesome these type of movies can be. Good news for y'all is, I think we might have found just that movie. The End of Oak Street might very well go down as one of the biggest surprises of the summer and possibly one of the best dinosaur movies we've had in a very long time. The thing that impresses me the most about this movie is, despite all the chaos that's going on screen, the movie never loses sight of what's important, which is the core story and the characters within that story. Characters that are relatable and grounded in a way that makes the dynamics feel real, and the emotional stakes severely personal. Showcasing characters that you actually care about and want to see survive is one of the biggest things this film had to get right, and I'm happy to say that it did just that. While some character arcs are more fleshed out than others, you truly wanted to see this family make it out on the other side. It's that very type of investment in the midst of all the craziness that truly makes a movie like this a diamond in the rough amongst a very crowded field of competitors. For every sequence that involved being chased by an Allosaurus or being pursued by a hungry raptor, there are plenty of scenes of a husband and wife refining their love for each other and doing everything in their power to keep their family together in spite of the hell they're enduring, both literally and figuratively. This might be a bold statement to make on this platform, but I gotta say it despite my deep connection to it. For me, this is the movie that Jurassic World Rebirth and in some cases Jurassic World Dominion should have been. Yes, dinosaurs being amongst mankind is something we've seen before to an extent, but it was the way that this film was executed that really highlighted how much of a missed opportunity it was that the last two Jurassic World movies didn't take full advantage of dinosaurs being in semi-modern society. Not to mention the fact that this film has a dark tone and a brutality to it that I don't even think the Jurassic movies have put on display. That type of boldness in storytelling is the thing that truly sets this movie apart from others in the genre. There have been so many incredible films that have come out this year and this summer that can easily overshadow a film like this. But I still highly recommend The End of Oak Street for being a prime example of not doing too much but doing a ton with what little you've been given. From its characters, its writing, its pacing, and the anxiety-inducing action from scene to scene, this is one dino flick that absolutely deserves your time and attention. But now that you've heard from me, I now want to hear from all of you guys. Sound off in the comments below your thoughts about The End of Oak Street, but be mindful of anything that could potentially be seen as a spoiler. I know that this review is coming a little bit later than usual, but I cannot emphasize enough that this is a worthy cinematic outing to partake in as we wind down the summer movie season. Made even more important knowing that it's not a sequel or a remake. Supporting a film like this can be a great way of getting more films like it and of the same quality on the big screen. They do get put out there, we just gotta show up. As always, keep it locked to the channel for more videos and reviews throughout the remainder of summer movie season 2026 and beyond. Be sure to like, comment, hit the subscribe button and tell your friends to stop on by and do the same. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day, and until the next review, I'm BJ Porter, and this has been the Porter Report.